Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at how do you create bar graphs, line graphs, and histograms. So similar to these problems that you see up on the screen here. Just a reminder, this is the normal version of the lesson. If you'd like the speedrun version where we go through it pretty quickly, I will link that in the description below. All right, here we go. So we're going to start with histograms. Histograms are called that because there is no space between these bars of data. Okay, if there was space in between them, like from the first slide, right? See how there's spaces between them? That is a bar graph. But a histogram has no spaces between the data. All right, so this story is about we're tracking sit-ups. Okay, it says the number of students, so maybe a PE class. And notice that we are missing this part of the data, which is the 10 through 19 number of sit-ups. So we need to go through our data and see which numbers are between 10 and 19. So this number is between 10 and 19. Yes, or I mean, no, no, yes, no, no, yes, no, no, yes, no, 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 yes, no, and no. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. 5 students did between 10 and 19 sit-ups. So on our graph here, we need to go all the way up to the 5 and just fill it in as best we can. And here is our histogram. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it is time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem here is the histogram. There was 1 student who scored between 20 and 39, and there were 2 students who scored between 80 and 99. And for the second problem, you'll notice that there is no data. Okay, there is no data for the 11 to 15 number of fish in the tank. Okay, and so there's no data, so we just leave it blank. Leave it as is. All right, for bar graphs, okay, we're gonna look at bar graphs next. And this is actually a double bar graph because you'll notice that there are sort of 2 categories here. And so the way this works is we need to go to our table here and classify each of these. So let's start with, let's do SUVs first. So SUVs are this column right here. Liability insurance for an SUV was $400. So we need to use green, okay, because this says, according to this, it needs to be green. So, and we need to do liability insurance, which is down here. So for the liability insurance SUV, we said it was $400. So that is right here. So here is our first one. And actually, I need to redo that because we need space, right? There needs to be a space between our data here. Okay, cool. All right, continuing with SUVs, let's do collision insurance. All right, collision insurance was also $400. So collision insurance for green is $400. So we'll do the same thing. All right, and comprehensive insurance, comprehensive insurance, $150. So 150 is here. All right, we are done with the SUVs. Now let's look at the vans. Okay, now let's look at vans. We'll start with liability insurance, and this needs to be in purple. So liability insurance was $400, so that would be this one right here. And again, I'm going to try and leave space here. A little bit difficult. Okay, there we go. And then for collision insurance, it was $350 for the van. So collision insurance was $350, which is right here. Trying to leave a little space here. Okay. And for comprehensive insurance, it's 150. 150. So 150 is here. Okay. And here you have your line graph, right? There's space, supposed to be space. I tried to leave space in between each one. And this is a double bar graph, because there are two different categories. All right, time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video, try these two on your own. When you're ready, unpause, and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem here is the completed bar graph. And for the second bar graph, two things we need to notice here. One, this one goes horizontally, and goes left to right instead of vertically, up and down. And then also, this is not a double bar graph, so you can sort of use whatever colors you want here. Okay, they need to be different from the other ones, right? Because each is a different day. So just make sure you use different colors. All right, last one, line graphs. Okay, again, this is, and in fact, they tell you here this is a double line graph because, again, we have two different categories. So we're looking at red light violation tickets on two different streets, First Street and Lake Street, and we're looking at different days, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so let's start doing our data. Let's do First Street first. And First Street is sort of a purple color. Sure. And this is a line graph, so this is going to be just a regular line. So for First Street, okay, let's start with Sunday is 14. So on Sunday at 14, I'm going to put a dot. Then on Monday was 4. So on Monday, dot at 4. Tuesday, 16. Wednesday, 2. Thursday, 18. And now we're going to connect those as best we can with a straight line here. So boom, boom, boom. Okay, that was really bad. Let's try that one again. A little better, and then boom. And now we do the same thing for Lake Street. We're going to put our dots in. So 6, 12, 2, 10, 16. And again, connect, boom, 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 boom. And here we are done, okay? Because we have plotted all of our data. We put all of our data in the double line graph. All right, time to practice. Last two. Go ahead and pause the video. Try these two on your own. When you're ready, unpause, and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first one here is the double line graph completed. This one was nice because they already did half of the graph for you, so you only had to do one of the lines. And for the second problem, here is the double line graph completed. Okay, looking at different amounts of paint for, I guess, some different paint jobs here, home and commercial. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.